And we are live. What is going on, everybody? I cannot see the chat comments again. They disappeared for me again. What's new? So we're already starting off amazingly. We don't have Steve. Steve is, I'm going to call it. I think he's quiet quitting the program. So he reached out to us.
Are you even going to allow him in if he shows up backstage, or are you just going to leave him back there?
I don't know. I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I'm not sure yet. Okay, we got a chat. Okay. Yeah, the chat deleted for me when I went live, but I can see you, Steven. What's going on?
I'm still having my double enter problem, so I don't know what that's about.
What do you mean, double what?
When I post something and I hit enter, it posts it twice in a row.
Okay, I can't see any of your stuff.
It was before you.
Okay.
Before the wipe out.
Yep. How about now?
I see it. All right. Michael Ham is in the chat. Kelly Cook, what's going on? Brandon is
Kelly.
Quiet quitting. He told us in a text message that he had a date night with his wife tonight. So clearly he's making his priorities known. It's a bi-weekly show.
At least I show up to watch the Cavs.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you might not be paying attention, but you're here, and that's all that matters.
You're a warm body.
We do have a mystery guest coming on. At least I think that she's going to come on. We'll see. She's got something to share with the community. It's fairly new, so we'll see how that looks. Never talked to her, met her before, so it is literally a mystery guest. So we'll see how that goes. Evening, Zoukopoulos, baseball card curmudgeon. What's going on? We got stuff to talk about tonight. Fanatics Fest. Is it no more? ? Or is there going to be more ? StreamYard pricing. Just saw that hit. It was $25 a month, and I just checked, and it was $45 a month this month. So anybody that's got some ideas on other streaming options, I'm all ears. All ears.
Oh, it went up? I didn't even know. I don't know if I'm...
That happened like 2 months ago.
Oh, it
did?
did?
I pay for StreamYard?
They announced it 2 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'd update my plan because it was going to be like $100 and some a month because they like auto bumped me to like the pro package.
Oh Lord. Well, maybe they haven't even done that for me yet. Cause I never saw an option for I never saw that. Okay. Well, that's something we'll have to watch.
I don't think I pay for StreamYard.
Mark, what's going on, dude? Ultimate
You don't
Pass
really
tonight?
need to unless you're running streams.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's 45 a month is a little bit rich for me. I don't know if I'm going to.
You really want the big StreamYard logo up there in the corner?
I mean, I like the fact that we can kind of like do our own little logo things and all that, but I got to assume there's competition out there. I haven't looked for an alternative in 4 years. So
I don't know that there is because everyone just uses this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically YouTube has its own live stream platform.
Yeah, it sucks though.
Oh, well, they just raised the price here and they didn't even change the logo. So, I mean, it's something at least.
Ryan already rubbing it in. The Saints, we were there to witness Jameis Winston coming home.
Go Boo.
Yeah, I FaceTimed Rob right at the end of the game, and he was crying so hard. Rob Neo is who I'm talking about, that he picked up and then he quickly hung up. Actually, it was funny. We had some really nice Browns fans sitting around us, and there was a point in the game where I got a little bit too hot. Like I was running a little hot. And it was the series where the Browns missed like 3 field goals in a row, but we kept on there's like penalty after penalty. They kept on, like, the Saints were getting called for all these weird penalties. Anyway, I had a little bit of a moment there, but the Browns kind of fizzled at the end of the half or at the end of the third or whatever it was. And we ended up pulling away thanks to Taysom Hill. It was fun though. That was fun. That was the first game that my youngest has ever been in the Dome. So that was cool, in the Superdome. So that was a fun watch. And every time he goes to a game, they win. So maybe we bring him to every game. Just saying. Rob, do you have anything that you want to add to that, or are you okay?
No, I mean, I've given up on the Browns before the season even started, so we're on Cavs watch. Talk to me in June.
Okay. I know. I think I kind of jinxed us though, or I say us because I'm a Cavs fan just by default. But I said we've got to witness 15-0 together, and I think that they lost last night to the Celtics. So sorry for jinxing that.
Yeah,
for you. My bad.
Well, they're already 15-0. That was to go 16-0.
Oh, look who decided to show.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
They're going to give your spot away.
I saw the distress signals.
Yeah. Well, Steve, all right. We actually do have a guest. The mystery guest is also here. So
give me a second to stream to my channel.
Okay. Your typing is so loud.
Use this thing still?
It's like a 90-year-old man. All right.
Are you paying $45 for this
when
too?
you're ready.
I don't know. I might be.
Have a channel?
Our actual guest is probably going to leave.
That's the plan.
All right. Are you good?
Well, you guys were heckling me.
What are you?
Well, there's more where that came from.
You work at a casino. Heckling shouldn't bother you.
I mean, you're the one that's late.
No,
Just
people heckle me at the casino.
I don't know. I don't know if 5 can go on the screen at one time, and if 5 cannot go on the screen.
Yeah, it can. It can. We've had you can get 12 on the screen at a time.
Yeah, you can put a ton of people on the
You
screen.
pay for it.
That's what you're paying for, Dust. That's your $45.
It's a $45.
All right, are you in?
Tax write-off.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and bring Charlie. We're bringing Charlie in. Charlie, thank you so much for being patient.
Of course.
This is what I have to deal with every other week, every other Wednesday. Thank you.
I'm enjoying the banter.
Oh, we're just getting started.
All right, so we're lucky today. We've got a guest coming on, and actually, so you had reached out, Charlie, just kind of looking to get the word out for Cards for Smiles. And I took a look, and I was like, man, this actually looks really, really cool. There's always a lot of talk about people trying to do nice things in the hobby for folks, but I was like, man, this actually looks really legit. So, talk to us a little bit. First off, how did you get into cards, and then how did you get into Cards for Smiles, and what is Cards for Smiles?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So I actually got into cards a long time ago when I was a youngin with Garbage Pail Kid cards. And so that's where I started. And then I had a big hiatus and I started collecting again this past winter. And then I kind of morphed into sports cards. So I'm somewhat of a little bit of a newbie with the sports cards. But I really have the love for the GPK from back in the day, going down to like the corner store and getting a pack for $0.25. And so as far as the Cards for Smiles goes, I also have an e-commerce store, echoxera.com. And so I've been getting a lot of inventory, and I have a lot of base cards and some like lower end cards I've just been collecting in a box. And so I was trying to figure out what to do with them. Like I feel like everyone has like this like extra surplus of cards. So I decided after like speaking with one of my friends who's had a child in and out of the hospital, maybe like do something nice for kids and get like kids more involved with the hobby and educate them a little bit. Because I do see a lot of kids coming into the hobby and they get so excited when they get those like one-of-ones and those special cards. And I just feel like it could be something nice to do for kids in challenging places in life, whether they're in like a group home or in a hospital or like even schools. I feel like could use them too. Kind of steer the kids away from the technology and more into some old school card collecting.
Yeah, one thing that impressed me too right out of the gate is it looks to me down here that you set up a legitimate nonprofit org for this. So this is not kind of a, you're kind of doing it by the seat of your pants out of your garage type thing. This is professionally set up.
Oh, yes, we are 100% legit. We are verified with the state. We have our EIN and we're ready to roll. So just trying to get this off the ground and running and trying to get the hobby to just see what we're doing here. Because I feel like a lot of folks could try to get involved. I've actually had a few people reach out today and saying they want to donate cards and just excited to be a part of something to give back to the community, especially the little ones, They need as much help as they can get sometimes, especially in certain situations.
Yeah, speak to that a little bit, because that was another thing I thought was pretty cool. So it's not necessarily just, sure, it could be kids at schools, but you're also focused around kids that might be in the hospital or, in some sort of a program. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, of course. So it actually came about because I have a good friend who has a handicapped son who's in and out of the hospital a lot. And, there's all these kids that are just stuck in the hospital, whether they're in there for a long time or they've got cancer or whatever's going on. And I can't imagine just being stuck in those four walls for weeks or months on end without anything really going on, and just trying to do something different for them and like bring them a care package and maybe find out like, do they have like a favorite player? Like, do they collect LeBron or Tom Brady? And just surprise them with something that they weren't expecting, and just try to get those good feels, and maybe they didn't even know about cards, and that's something that they will grow to love because they didn't even know that was even something in the community.
So this is pretty cool. You have goals that are set. Now you don't necessarily have like number of cards here or dollar amounts that I can see, but it does look like, and this is fairly new too, right? You started over the last couple of months.
Yeah, it's only about 2 months old now.
Okay.
So
So can
I
you
do
walk
have
through?
I do have a whole like bunch of cards of my own that I have to donate. But we will be like tracking how many cards we're donating. And if you actually go onto the store part of the website, there's capabilities of purchasing or like getting a care package, or purchasing a pack of cards, a random pack of different cards that we can put together.
Okay.
So we're really just looking for maybe some sponsorships or some help in the area of getting some packaging for all of this once we get all the collections.
Yeah. So what are, and break this down. I've got it here kind of on the website, but it looks like you can volunteer in person. Is that right? Or can someone be anywhere to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like someone could be anywhere to do this if we were to branch out in other parts of the country, because I'm in the Northeast, in New Hampshire, and I have a friend in Vermont that was going to work in a few hospitals around that area. So if someone wanted to volunteer and to drop off cards at certain hospitals in different cities that have lots of like hospitals that have kids in them, maybe Philadelphia or Boston's not too far from me. Um, People can volunteer, or the sponsorships is what we're looking for as well, really, to get started, to get off with some of this packaging. And then we can do collaborations too. If any breakers wanted to sponsor like part of their show, I wouldn't mind jumping onto a live stream with someone. I also do some of my live streaming with Echo over on Whatnot, and also for my website. So I could do a live stream for my website as well. There's really lots of different opportunities, I think, to go about this. And I'm really open to any suggestions as well.
As far as the cards go, I'm just trying to think of what's the most practical, and I guess what would be the most ideal. Are you looking for, when you're putting together, because you're spending time and you're boxing up and you're putting together packages, as opposed to just getting kind of everybody's common cards? Is it more ideal to kind of get more like a base card of Tom Brady, which might be a 25 cent or 50 cent card, as opposed to getting a random common of a player? Or do you just want cards, to be able to make, do you want it kind of more curated? Or is it,
Yeah,
yeah, how
it would
does
be.
it, you see that?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So I think it would be nice to have a little bit of everything too. I would be open to collecting memorabilia as well. If people have like old sports jerseys that they don't use or want anymore, or signed baseballs, or hats, really anything. Because I think it'd be fun to have like care packages as well. We could do just separate boxes of cards. And I know I could probably get quite a few cards, but I also think it would be nice to do like different care packages too. So really, it's open to whatever the community is willing to help donate. I mean, I have some of my things that I can donate as well, but my thought process is to do mostly cards and to curate them to hopefully like find out if kids in hospitals have certain players that they collect or that they're wanting. But then also maybe around Christmas time, closer to Christmas, like do like little like individual like care packages of maybe like a t-shirt or a hat and some cards.
Cool. Awesome. So is
Yeah.
the website the best way to I guess get a hold of you? I know you have kind of all the socials. You've got, Twitter and you've got IG, but is it best for people to kind of go through the website as opposed to sending you a message on IG, for example? Like, is this the way to go
Yeah.
here on Cards for Smart?
Yeah, really any way is okay for now. I would prefer probably social media, because I tend to be on it more often because I post a lot. But the website is fine as well. There's the email right there down at the bottom, give@cardsforsmiles.com, or through any of my social media sites. I have social media for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, this will go out. We've got about 90 people that are watching now. There'll be a lot of people on the replay as well, but I'll also kind of kick this around on social media and share stuff on social media. Feel free to tag us in it. We can reshare, but I'm sure, and I know there's just a lot of collectors / hobbyists that have, I have a lot of stuff. Actually, I was going to send a ComC and I'll send your way. I'll reach out and just kind of figure out how I can send them to you guys. But I know that there's a lot of people that do have kind of those extra base cards to send. And there's going to be people too that I'm sure want to do a monetary donation or a sponsorship or something like that too. So
absolutely.
We'll
appreciate it. That'd be great. Thanks for your time tonight, Sports Card Dad and crew.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much, Charlie, for coming on. And we'll connect later. And guys, if you can spare a few cards, check out cardsforsmiles.com.
One quick question. Is it non-sports cards too, or just sports cards? Like, do you want Pokemon and TCG, or are you just looking for sports cards?
I will take non-sports cards as well. Yeah, I know Pokemon's big with a lot of the youngins too, so that would be great. But I'm open to whatever donation you all want to throw our way.
Good stuff. All right, Ham, you heard that. So Michael Ham's going to send you all the stuff behind him. He's got boxes of stuff back there.
I can see that.
Yeah, I got a fair amount of stuff.
Do it for the kids, Ham.
Always for the kids.
Great.
All right, Charlie.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
All right. Talk to you later.
Take care.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right, gents. Steve, good to have you.
Hey, man, thanks.
We thought you might be quiet quitting.
So somebody in the chat already busting my balls. Big Papa, he was like, "That was quick, Steve. Fast food for date night." Now, see, I texted Dustin
hours ago,
5 or 6. So yeah, it was hours ago. I said I may or may not make it because I didn't know how long I was going to be. Since the National, I don't plan my days off. I don't schedule anything for my days off unless it's an absolute necessity, like a doctor's appointment or something like that, because I don't want to miss opportunities or miss out on things because I had other things planned, man. I'm just like, Ham knows the National this year did something to me from a life standpoint that changed me to where I'm just like trying to live every moment of my free time to the max. So, hey, one life.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we all have one life and we're here.
So I know that we got, you weren't here when you were in Mexico. You weren't here.
Okay. Let's pull out the one time.
You were in Seattle. When you were in Seattle, you weren't here.
I was here. No. That was for the draft. But I was in the draft. I was taking part. I just couldn't join the live stream.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
Steve was in Prague getting hit on by prostitutes.
Since you brought up fantasy football, I've been collecting bounties.
I didn't bring up fantasy football.
Dustin brought up the draft.
Yeah, I lost by less than a point to Steve.
I didn't want to beat you too bad. I just wanted to beat you enough.
Less than a point.
I wanted you to feel like you had hope.
That is correct, Rim.
Man, that was tough.
Yeah, those losses are brutal.
It is cards, the number 4 smiles.com. Michael Stone.
Yes.
And you can also look at cards for style or for smiles on Instagram.
Yeah, cards, the number 4 smiles. That's the IG and also the website.
Yeah, because I'm already following it.
I have some stuff I can send.
I mean, I feel like everybody's got some stuff we could probably send. I
think I have some of the Bowman packs that come in the mega boxes that you can't hit bangers, but you can still get Bowman first and stuff.
Yeah.
I'll send those. Those are fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, by the way, just a quick update. Daisy's doing fine.
Daisy,
in case anybody was wondering.
You want to say the T word?
Well, she was real tired. As last night at like 9:30, I was like, man, let's go to the beach. And so we went to the beach and walked on the beach till like 11. And she's been tired. What are you looking at? Cool. She knows the word beach. That's why she's looking at me now.
She knows the word treat too, probably.
Not tonight, huh?
Tony Sin asks, when are you 4 going to make a firefighter type calendar? We're always looking for ways to raise money for the cause.
Listen, I thought you already like pre-made one. You just didn't launch it.
Yeah, I was thinking more along the line of like Navy pilots.
We're Top Gun pilots.
Yeah, like top.
That's the calendar.
We're gonna Photoshop our face and the guys with masks on in planes.
Hey, if Brendan Ryan is watching, he's usually in the stream. I think he was in earlier. If he's watching, Brendan Ryan can put together all the pictures for us. So the answer is yes. We will have a calendar. We just don't know when. We don't have a release date that's set in stone. But yes, Tony, it is coming. It is in process. Star Wars Fiend. What's going on? Hobby Champs in the house. All right. First, I feel like we should address Neo's shirt. Neo, do you want to talk about? I guess you somewhat called it there a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, Fanatics Fest.
Oh, I thought that stood for firefighters in NYC. I thought he was getting ready for the calendar already.
Yeah, that's his shirt for the calendar, but we're gonna rip it open.
But I've heard this is kind of more of just like a revamp, like Fanatics Fest or whatever. Like they're still gonna have shows or just revamping what they're doing. That's kind of like what I'm hearing.
No, I think they put the hard brakes down.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. I got some other news from other outside sources, underground, illegal sources that told me that it might still be going.
I mean, I think there's a good chance New York still happens. I don't think anything else happens in 2025 besides New York and maybe WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I don't think it's completely nuked to the ground, but I think there's probably a chance New York doesn't happen, but I think New York happens. Supposedly, tickets are supposed to go announcement / on sale sometime in early December.
Yeah, but you're not going to buy a ticket.
So you're talking about? I'm sorry.
Don't do it, Neo.
Well, the problem is I'm 98% confident I know when the date is, and I have a conflict with another show that weekend. So I will have to make a decision.
Got you. You have date night. I got you.
Here's my problem. Okay, let's say they do Fanatics Fest again. It's probably going to, my guess is it's going to be somewhat of a watered down version without, all of the celebrities because of the cost and, there's speculation around the losses around it. Now, maybe they're okay with taking a loss, but maybe they're not. Again, don't know exactly what the losses are, but
the other companies taking the loss. Because I know WWE, even though they had a great show, they lost a ton of money. I know that for a fact.
Well, I guess my thing is if I am choosing between that or Comic-Con in New York, or even hell, even I guess San Diego is the same time as the National. I'm probably going
too close to the National.
I'm probably going to New York Comic-Con just because I know what I'm going to get. It's already established. I'm going to have fun there. My kids will like Comic-Con more than Fanatics Fest probably. So I guess my youngest son would probably want to see if there's football players there and stuff, he'd be all about it. But I don't know. I feel like I'd probably just do other stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, we're already basically locked in for New York Comic-Con next year, the wife and I.
Yeah, well, you guys
it's tough to commit 2 weekends to New York City in a year for shows. We can financially afford it. That's not the problem. It's just you run into you start looking at weekends throughout the year and you start looking at shows that you want to go to, and your calendar fills up very quickly. I'm going here this month and I want to go here this month. And then the National, that's almost a full week. And New York Comic-Con's a full week. And, do I want to go to Heroes Con? Do I want to go to
it's a
CSA show? Shoshana? All of a sudden your calendar gets full fast. And that's just card and comic stuff. That's not even just life.
Yeah, I like going to Heroes Con. It's right down the street, basically. So that's one where
it's a fantastic show.
That's the other thing with Fanatics Fest. Even if they do it, how are they going to top what they already did? If they're trying to save money,
it just depends on if they're trying to save money or not. They might not care about the loss.
Well, but the other vendors lost money, and do they find that was valuable to them? That's part of the problem too, is convincing them to come back when they've already lost money. What did they show for an ROI for that event at the end of the day? Did they need that event? The answer is no for all of them.
Yes, but a lot of those events vendors need Fanatics, so they're going to want to stay in their good graces, even if it costs them. I mean, it's basically a
jerseys and product. They won't be doing it for long.
We are the last content creators without a repack. every other damn content creator's got some sort of a repack
Do
program.
they? Who got a repack?
Everybody's got a repack. I'm kind of joking, but I like most everybody's launching a repack. Everybody's got a repack. I think, look, season 5 Stranger Things comes out next year in 2025. It's time to unleash the upside down repack where your wallet is not turned upside down.
What month does it come out?
Comes out. Well, they haven't announced a date. We just know it's 2025. They're wrapping up filming in like a month. So it's,
Because I mean, we're like coming in 2025 hot.
yeah,
real hot.
it's not going to be
back up Fanatics
Probably like
Fest.
October next year.
Cards are
Circle back to
melting up.
Fanatics Fest real quick. I think one of the other concerns they're going to have is they announced this. Who's actually going to want to book travel for this thing and like act like?
Right.
And I'm not talking like corporations, just people.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Like,
I don't have
other
to
than
worry
locals,
about.
other than people that don't have to fly, or I mean, you can get a lot of people on the Eastern Seaboard that can get there fairly easily. But how many people are going to want to commit a bunch of time and money to travel, given what they did with Orlando?
Yeah, I don't have to worry about New York Comic Con getting canceled last
Yeah,
minute.
they're definitely burning bridges on both sides, I think, at this point. And it's just Ruben trying to talk people into things because of whatever power they have. But I mean, it just doesn't feel like it doesn't look like they're doing great financially. And just right now it looks like a spiral, to be honest with you, for that
I mean,
company.
I'm like a stockbroker, but I think a lot of the Fanatics clickbait doom and gloom is a little over dramatic.
Whatever happened to them IPOing? That never happened.
Just because they don't IPO.
That's a big money
you know,
raiser. That's a fundraiser for your company. It's just, you need money.
They literally print like $3 billion every time they put an Otani Tops Now card up. I think they're doing okay.
I know, but I just don't. Doesn't look like that's supporting it if they're letting people go and downside canceling events.
I think
I mean,
that
they fired
well's going to
like
dry up.
What,
Right.
Steve?
I think that well's going to dry up, though.
Oh, I agree. I don't buy that stuff
print,
anymore.
it basically just makes something. I mean, the Tops Now stuff. The excitement of getting cards was always not knowing what you were going to get, and then going out and getting the singles that you could have possibly gotten. Now it's just kind of buy it when it comes out. There's the card, buy it, right? Oh, we're going to print them, buy it. Oh, we're going to
but you
make
have
it.
the chase for the auto or the parallel.
It all seems so. They're not fake cards, but it all seems so non-organic. It all seems.
Well, that is so
just
repetitious.
so-
Every time something happens now, it's a card, an auto, a chase, card, an auto, a chase, and it's just to the point that it just for the regular person that tries it 2 or 3 times ends up with nothing. They're not playing the game anymore. They stop because it doesn't even feel like a fair risk or gamble to really attempt to get that. And then how many times are those things even valuable past a week because something else happens again a week later from the same guy? And then so you're just looking for a super collector for just one guy all the time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It just keeps happening over and over
Yeah,
and over again to the
it's
point where
washed
it's
over.
watered down. Yeah.
Not
To where the
special.
point-
I mean, that could all be true, but the hobby has proven over and over again they care more about the $10 pull on the slot machine than they do the card.
They do, but they all go. That's why we're getting forced to go to breaks now.
But
And
that's why Tops
those
Now
aren't
still
$10
gonna be
pulls
successful.
there.
People still want to
But I'm
gamble.
saying it's not a $10 pull on a slot machine when you're talking about the prices of some of this stuff.
No, I'm talking about Tops Now specifically.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's one card.
But I mean, look at the Wemby
Yeah,
box.
but you only have to buy one card to get a chance for a parallel. You don't
It
have to
doesn't
buy a
seem like,
5
it doesn't seem like that. I've yet to see the guy that bought one card and hit a great parallel.
It used to be.
Goes out in a
It
ball.
used to be let's buy a box and we hope to get a card of this player. Now it's kind of like let's buy a pack of all the same player and hope to get this card of this player. It just,
Yeah.
to me, it seems it waters it down as far as the chase for a player. Now it's actually a chase for a card as much as it used to be a chase for a player. And to me, a chase for a card just seemed very like superficial.
I feel like the whole hobby's gone that way. You can pull a nice rookie card of a guy. It's not autographs, not numbered. You don't care. You move along. You're looking for more. And that's just kind of where it's been force fed into our face. Frankly, I'm tired of it. It's now I don't get surprised about anything. Ooh, big $1 million card. Okay, so what? There's another one next week too. I just keep moving along. I don't care.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Once everything is special, nothing special.
Yep. What do y'all think about this? So the thing that's been going around is, would you rather have the Bowman first superfractor versus the 1-of-1 debut patch?
Yeah,
the
which
one
one-
debut patch is by far and away the best rookie card made for any player.
Correct. But then some people are
100%.
complaining, or not complaining, they're stating, oh, well, this is the Bowman first, so this is the first one. It's going to hold more value, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, they're both autographed. They're both on card. The only difference is one has a definitely game-used, one-of-a-kind piece of material in it that, let's face it, even the players will fight for. I mean, we've seen what's been offered for this. I know a lot of people were like really trying to push a PR thing for the Pittsburgh Pirates. But when I went to that stadium, they're a very baseball card centric organization. They like having things of their player to display. Like, that's a big deal for them. So I could see them actually really wanting this card just to display in the clubhouse somewhere.
Yeah, but if I saw the bounty that the Pittsburgh Pirates put out, did that even involve any money? It more or less involved just perks at the stadium. And I'm just kind of like, I'd rather have the damn cards than perks at Pittsburgh Pirate Stadium.
Well,
Or,
they were
if I
trying
order
$30
the
years
card,
of season
pay me,
ticket
not
worth a decent chunk of change. Whether, I mean, you can make jokes about it or not, but
what's that?
30 years of season tickets for baseball is not cheap.
Well, I think, didn't somebody average it out? It's over
like
$1
a
million.
million.
No,
Yeah,
but
it's $1 million in value on the ticket.
But it's attainable. I can obtain season tickets to the Baltimore Orioles on my own. I don't need the Baltimore organization to give me a special prize to get them. But that card's a lot more harder to get than season tickets to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's taking that bounty. It was purely a marketing ploy.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Anyone's going to
everything
sell
in
that
that
card
bounty.
to overtake the Pirates bounty.
That was my thing. That bounty just seemed like something like somebody would not take.
Yeah, it's genius marketing for the Pirates and for baseball and for the card itself. I mean, that plus Libby sent Topps
I think it's a
Chrome
cheap look.
into a freaking spiral over the weekend. Like, box prices literally went insane after all that stuff came out and hit social.
So are we in agreement, all of us, that the Topps debut patch, that auto, that's already taken over the first Bowman stuff? For
100%. I don't think it's close.
For the super, yeah.
I think
pretty
that's
wild, though. I mean,
that's arguably any player's best card. I don't even think it's.
I mean, that's an achievement for Topps to pull off in 18 months.
Yeah, I mean, that I said, I think in today, I don't remember what video it was, one day this week, like, the two things Topps got 1,000% right since the Fanatics acquisition was the MVP buyback and the 101 debut patch. Like, no one can argue that those are not spectacular ideas.
And I understand too, like the Bowman first super, I understand the relevance of that, but there's also how many 1-of-1 supers of Paul Skeen auto moving forward anyway for his rookie card. So for somebody that still wants a highly desirable, valuable card, there's more available. Where the debut patch, that's it. There's not even a comparable option.
The debut patch is a 1-of-1, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if there's only one and you want a nice Paul Skeen's rookie card, you're going to have to go another avenue.
Yeah.
So
there is other cards
you're
that are still
more
very
options
valuable
for
and
super
desirable.
fractors.
But you're
Another
comparing
one.
it up against the 1-of-1 superfractor first Bowman auto.
That's the one. Yeah,
That's the
everybody.
comparison. Those are the two grails for any player.
Yeah, those
Correct,
are going to be
at this
the
point,
two.
yeah.
I mean, don't
just
get me
like
wrong.
the-
The Super Bowman is still awesome, but the debut patch has a piece of a unique patch from the player's first ever game. Like, it doesn't get any better than that.
They're really good looking cards, like gold foil around the patch. They're on card.
And I think that card's going to, at some point, morph a little bit more and become more visually appealing over time. I think because I don't know if you've ever seen them in person. They could do a little bit better with more of, like, let's say, like Leaf Pearl does, or what Exquisite's been in the past, to where the surface on it's just looks very rich and really nice. They can do some upgrades to it in the future that really
especially too, because you know that you're also going to have all the sports will be combined. You know, you'll have football, basketball, and baseball will all have that same uniformity to where that's going to be the card in a couple of years. You know,
and correct, because that's going to cross over sports moving forward.
Well, we were talking about a 1-of-1
full licenses.
The debut patch, and depending on the player, could hold historical significance. Not just as a sports card, because if someone becomes one of the better players ever, you know, that's going to be something that might wind up in a museum or in the Hall of Fame, might come calling for something like that and be like, look, that patch. Now they'll have an entire jersey, I guess an entire uniform, a hat, and everything that player wore in their opening day game besides a patch. But I feel like that card, it would become more than a card at that point, so I can definitely see the appeal on something like that.
And what Topps has been doing, even with some of the Topps Now stuff, obtaining stuff from an event, historical event or game, I do really like. It's very expensive to get into, and some of it's a little hokey, especially when it's a base or a random ball. It isn't the ball. It isn't the base. It could be from anywhere. Versus that where you know exactly where it came from because there's just no other. But I do get a little bit concerned in the future. Do they start adding these things per game for events just to make other one-of-ones of other things, even if it's not your first game? Just looking for historical reference for game use, because most game use stuff is no longer game used at all. So now it's becoming rare to have game used material because most of these guys keep their jerseys, trade with other guys, trade for a baseball card for some PR.
Do the players go in? Do the players go into these games knowing that, hey, this is on my uniform to be put on a baseball card?
Yeah, they know they can't keep it because most of them keep that first uniform. They can't keep that piece.
Now, have they always worn that patch? Like, when did they start wearing a rookie debut?
They started specifically for this last year.
Oh, so now, so basically, it was something made for the sports card hobby.
It was manufactured. Yeah.
So it was kind of
Ruben basically called the MLB commissioner and said, "We want to do this," and they said, "Okay." They've done like behind the scenes videos of like MLB employee like putting the patch on the jersey and then like how they remove it after the game and like bag it up and seal it and security tag it and then get it to Topps and everything.
Yeah. I think it's a cool concept, but I think the fact that it's actually something that was artificially come up with as an idea, almost as if it was created in a lab. It's still, I would still say it's the best card out there, but to me, it's a little bit more of basically they did it for the sports card industry.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
It seems a little less,
like Neo said, it's one of the better things that we've had introduced into this hobby, period. Probably since the hologram. So.
Yeah, it's cool, but I mean, I guess it signifies that it is the opening day patch from the jersey, but what would you rather have? Like a big chunky swatch from the actual worn jersey, or would you rather have that debut patch, knowing that debut patch is now something that was put there specifically for this, as opposed to, hey, this jersey is from the first game.
I like the debut.
I don't really care about that.
Well, I like the debut patch. I guess somebody could counterfeit the debut patch, but I like the debut patch over just a chunk of jersey because, that could be from anywhere, anything that could be popped out, put it, like there's also.
Yeah, so could the debut patch too, though. You just got to be trusting. You're trusting.
Even like Logo Man's overplayed as well. I mean, it's very unique.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I mean. But what made Logo Man special, though, is that the Logo Man has pretty much always been a piece of the NBA jersey. Same with the NFL Shield. NFL Shield cards are always desirable. That's, as far as I can remember, maybe not as far as I can remember, I'm pretty old, but for a long, long time, NFL Shields were here on the jerseys, and they weren't put there for sports card purposes.
Yeah,
right?
I get what you're saying.
If you got that, so multiple cards were made of the same player, and one of them just happened to have the shield on it as opposed to a regular piece of the jersey, made it seem more special to me because it was put there by chance. It ended up there by chance. It's almost like this stuff is planted, which it is. We just said that it was. So it's planted. When it seems planted, when it is planted, to me, not that I don't think it's cool and an awesome concept, it just lost a little bit of its luster to me when I just found that out. I was hoping it was something that they had been doing for like the last 20 years, but I guess they haven't. I thought it was something that Major League Baseball did, not something that Fanatics asked Major League Baseball to do. I just thought they had debut patches on their jerseys like for the last 20 years.
It would have been nice if they would have done that from the beginning, but they weren't that smart.
Mike Petty makes a good point. Base cards making waste management a fortune. We're all investing in recycling centers with all the cardboard that's flowing through. It's flowing through here.
I'm almost surprised there's not a recycling program for the actual companies.
Rob, how much Bowman draft are you buying chasing the guy for Cleveland?
Probably not much. I didn't buy any on release. It was too expensive. It was ridiculously expensive.
What were
the debut patches for the other sports? Like, can you imagine what the top quarterback debut patch or like Cooper Flag's NBA debut patch is gonna like? That'll make the baseball ones look cheap, I bet.
Yeah.
When Arch Manning is a New Orleans Saint, man,
you put the bounty out, Dustin.
That will be when I'm
gonna,
that will be when I'm the idiot buying the $400 hobby boxes and buying into the breaks and the bullshit. That will be when it is. When
are
Arch
they going to do that across all sports? The
100%.
debut patch thing?
They will be once they have the licensing for each one.
They get NBA license next year. You can guarantee the Cooper Flag NBA debut patch will be one of the biggest chases next year.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I think it's football the following year. So would that be Arch Manning's class? Not this upcoming season, but the following season?
Yes.
I guess the only thing that could hold them up on that is if they had like an autograph deal with somebody else. I guess you could still put the debut patch in there with no auto. Technically.
Oh, you know what? Arch is signed with Panini. That's right. But I don't know like when that
could
deal
change
was.
by then though. It's still 2 years away.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how long that deal was, but
I'm almost surprised Panini hasn't mocked it while they have football just to try to make some extra cash.
God, that would suck if that did happen where Arch was a New Orleans Saint and then it's unlicensed Panini cards that are it's like the other, it's backwards and God, that would be so typical.
That could change by then.
Yeah.
I saw Panini just signed Paige Beckers too. They have all the women talent on lockdown. Could you imagine it doesn't exist, but if there was a Caitlin Clark WNBA debut patch, like that would sell for
that'd be ridiculous.
Insane money.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's funny to watch all the money is siphoned. It's all like funnels up to Caitlin Clark. Oh, we lost Neo. Neo's in the dark, literally.
Oh. Come on, the Cavs. Just because the Cavs got beat, doesn't you don't take it
half court shot.
I didn't realize I didn't have my camera plugged into the power. I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, all the speculation money is in Caitlin Clark for WNBA. I get it though. I mean, she's a
lot of the other players are doing pretty well. Like, I mean, Paige isn't in the NBA yet, but her card prices are pretty good right now. So's
but
Cameron Brinks is pretty good.
I know, but it kind of just feels like Clyde Drexler versus Jordan Prices, Barkley versus Jordan Prices, like Chris Mullin versus Jordan Prices and all that. I understand what you mean though. I mean, Aja Wilson is the best player in the WNBA, but her cards are pretty cheap.
And just to clarify, a couple people in the chat are, I don't know, like Michael in Philly, or at least Michael saying he couldn't agree with me on the patch. I'm not trying to shit on the debut patch. I'm just saying to me it would feel even better than what it already is if it wasn't something that was like intentionally thrown in there for the sports card hobby.
Yeah, if it was organic, basically.
Yeah, if it was just something that was already there and they decided to start putting it on sports cards, it would have just felt a little bit better, because this makes it feel like a money grab.
Yeah,
that's what it makes it feels like.
Well,
what can we do to get people to pay more for the product? That's kind of like what it feels.
I find it funny when you get a jersey card out of a pack and it says, not from any specific event, or basically tells you straight fake. Why isn't every one of those like a 3-color banger? Like, I just don't get it. It's just like, it's fake already. You're not even cutting the jersey up.
They got budget, man. They gotta use the entire jersey.
They're the ones that created.
Just use the good parts.
Did the Cavs lose back to back?
No, they won by like 25 tonight.
Oh, okay. All right, Jake.
We can go hunting for skeins right now. Maybe I have the debut.
Oh,
I haven't seen one debut come out of one of those boxes.
Man,
I've seen the debuts get pulled out of.
Question.
Rob's gonna
if you pulled it, Neo, are you taking the Pittsburgh Pirates deal?
Yeah, he is.
You can sit with Livy Dunn.
I'm selling that thing as fast as I'm calling
Rob's gonna be sitting with Livy Dunn.
I wouldn't sell it.
With Livy Dunn.
So I would milk that thing like if I was a free agent in freaking football, baseball, or basketball.
I would definitely go on a world tour for sure.
Yeah, I'm going on a tour. Livy's taking a picture with me with it, and she's
gonna have to want it. So yeah, Paul and Livy are gonna have to wine and dine me, and then Ken's gonna have to wine and dine me, and then that.
Well, first of all, somebody's gonna want to grade it, so they're gonna wine and dine you first. Yeah, because it's gotta get slabbed.
Who's the late night talk show host? They have a deal out. They have like a package that they just want to see the card. Yep. You could like come to their show for free.
Yeah, I think it's Seth Meyer. Seth
Myers. Yeah.
For like the first 2 or 3.
I'll bring Letterman out of retirement. I'll have Tyson in a ring.
Yeah.
Like we'll do it all.
Jake Paul will be there. Logan Paul will be there. I mean, at
Neo's
that point,
Neo will be fighting
gonna be-
Logan Paul for the rights to the card.
Yeah.
They're going to be cutting up Tyson's butt girdle, putting it on cards.
You know how much
I'm surprised
content
they
I would
haven't
get
done
out of if I pulled that card? I think we'd go on a world. I'd retire from my day job and just go on a world tour with the Skeens 101 debut patch.
Yeah, Petty is right on this. If there's Arch Manning with the Archie Manning Saint stuff, that would be the end. Like I'd be selling everything off, and my entire PC would be this. It would be the Mannings.
no more. All your Stranger Things cards would be gone.
Maybe not all, but yeah,
Okay,
I'd be
there we
moving.
go.
I'd be moving out.
Jordan will definitely be gone. You don't need that. They're everywhere.
Who signed Juju?
Did the Saints sign
Bears.
Juju?
Did the Chiefs move him?
Haribo signed them.
Did the Chiefs move on from him?
I have no idea.
Is trade deadline over?
Yeah,
it was like a week
Never
ago.
over.
Because he's with
I think
the
they cut him.
Chiefs.
I think they cut him after they traded for DeAndre Hopkins.
He played last week. It was his first week
Oh, maybe
back
they
from
did. I don't know.
hamstring.
They cut somebody.
I mean, they might have cut him after that game or something. Maybe, yeah. I haven't looked. Best place to go for NFL news is the fantasy.
Rob, do you think that the football, basketball, Bowman stuff is that going to be as good as Bowman baseball from Brad?
No, I mean, we've kind of already seen it with. I mean, you would actually probably know this better. You dabbled in the first Bowman quarterback stuff. Like, it has its little window of time. But as soon as the real stuff comes out, nobody cares about it anymore.
Well, I guess what he's saying is when they take this over and there
It's
are
like
true
pro
Bowman
unis.
for NFL.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Bowman would never. I mean, the first Bowman's always going to be in college for base football and basketball.
No, they'll make a first Bowman pro.
You think they will?
No,
100%.
they'll already have the first. No, they,
No, I'm
they
just
would
telling
have
you
the first Bowman time in college. That's not how
what
it
they're
works.
going to do. Once they get the license, they're going to do it. There's no reason not.
They could do the Bowman draft. So you got the college
Yeah.
version, and then you've
Correct.
got the
It's like
pro
Panini
version.
Prism draft and then Panini Prism.
That's not how Bowman.
Everybody chases the draft, and then once the real stuff comes out, you now care about that more. That's always how it's been. It's already laid
But
out.
once they put first Bowman on the player card, whether it's college or not, they don't put it on again in their pro uniform.
That I guarantee they will.
They've never done that with baseball.
Bowman
Why
Pro.
would they do that with football and
They
basketball?
get
That's not
Panini
how
Prism.
it works.
Ham knows the ins and outs. He knows people on the inside.
It's too easy to make money. The hobby's stupid.
They
No, it's actually gonna
were
come
putting first
second
Bowman on. They're
It's gonna
putting
say
first Bowman
first
on
Bowman.
players that weren't even alive anymore.
You know what? So National Treasures just came out, right? Or whatever this checklist. I don't know if it's actually out, but the checklist is out. So I go to look to see, hey, I'll go look for some Buccaneer cards. They don't have anything good in there for Buccaneer cards. It's ridiculous. I got 0 Baker Mayfield. I have no Bucky cards. Like, you've literally just wasted this product for me. I have
There's no
zero
Bucks,
interest in it.
there's no good Bucks players. So
Well, they're all I use is the Hall of Famers. So
Excuse me,
John
Baker
Lynch,
Mayfield,
that's all
the
that-
greatest
you'll shut the
quarterback
hell
in
up.
human history.
Keep it up, Saint boy.
You're trying to get some Bucky Irving cards? Is that
Yeah,
who
I
you're
like
talking
Bucky
about?
Irving, but I wanted
only
like
worst-
something premier.
the only worse
Mhm.
situation than the Saints is the Browns, where you had Baker Mayfield, and then you moved over to Deshaun, and now you have Jameis. You have famous Jameis. It's just, whew.
Can't
Baker
go
doesn't
wrong.
have a base card in the set. That's
It's
horrible.
tough.
Let's talk about NFL a little bit real quick, because we talk about how hard or more difficult it is to flip cards recently. We don't see a whole lot of ups and downs, and we see more. Well, we always see more downs, but see a lot of crashes amongst the popular quarterbacks. But I can tell you right now, if you invested in Bo Nix at the beginning of the season, you're probably starting to look on the up. Especially he's starting to push for Rookie of the Year now. And if Denver goes to the playoffs,
Yeah.
he might
Playoffs?
win
Playoffs?
Rookie of the Year. So I still think when you can buy people that either aren't doing well or expected to perform, and then they exceed expectations because there's nothing baked in, there's still room in cards when people exceed expectations. Now,
I mean,
people already
that's the trick is the
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what I'm-
NBA is the same way. I just looked at a bunch of NBA guys last week. Like, there's a ton of guys that have gone up 50, 60, 70%, but it's none of the guys that were super expensive.
Right, who are some of the guys?
The problem,
Who's doing
though,
good
is
in the NBA?
you're
All
talking
the Cavs, like Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Donovan
okay.
Mitchell's way up. I forget who else was on that list. There was
The problem
non-Cavs
is-
too, but
you got 32 QBs. You picked out Bo Nix. I mean, I guess like Jared Goff's doing well, but I mean, you can pick 30, you miss on 28 of them, and you got 2 right. I mean, like,
no, you can't. If you go 2 for 5, my theory was always 2 for 5, 2 for 6, and your wins will outweigh your losses. Because when something tanks, it usually tanks. If you get rid of it at the right time, which you may take you 20, 30, 40% hit on it. But if something really hypes up, you're seeing, 300, 400% gains. So
yes, your gainers outweigh the.
Yeah. The other thing too is when you're going with Steve's strategy, you're buying guys that are already pretty cheap. You're not buying Joe Burrow at $2,000.
Yeah.
You're buying a bunch of guys at $50 to $100 to $300. If their stuff goes crappier, it doesn't drop as much because it's already in the dumpster.
Like this year, I'm in the dumpster on a few Desmond Ritter cards, but my wins on Sam Darnold and my wins on Justin Fields way outweigh the hit that I'm taking on Desmond Ritter.
Right. Fair enough.
But I was just saying, like, in a time when everything is like seems to be, doom and gloom, there is still chances when you pick the correct cards and don't get yourself in over your head to begin with.
It's just you have to work for it now. You can't just literally buy anything and stick it in a PSA slab and immediately.
If you bought the guys like the top draft picks, if the Caleb Williamses and the Jaden Daniels, even Jaden Daniels actually saw movement because he played better, even though he was an early pick. But if those guys, because they're such high draft picks, again, they already come with some baked in price to them. So then they got to almost supersede expectation. Where like Nick's didn't fall into that category of where there was high expectations already placed on him.
Right.
And then he's performed above expectation.
Yeah, the hobby darlings, the Joe Burrows and the Herberts, and I mean, even like a guy like Dak Prescott is somebody where their prices have been pretty high considering. And yeah, it's just like, where's the upside on that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
Price point bush liggers. There was the same thing. That's the same reason I bought some Sam Darnold stuff. He's asking me what talked me into buying a couple Desmond Ritters. Price point. Sometimes the risk is worth the reward, and some, and you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But when your risk is very, very minuscule, sometimes it's worth taking a chance. If you don't take a chance, you won't ever be successful. Like they say in the casino business, scared money don't make money. Right. So,
Brad, real quick. Yeah, my son did really enjoy the game. It was fun. It was fun watching him celebrate and everything. It's great that we won. That's always kind of the caveat there. If we had lost, it would have been probably a different story, but it was fine. It was good.
Oh, that reminds me. I have a casino specific question for Steve at some point in time tonight.
Well, go ahead.
I might be able to answer it.
So my video tomorrow, the PSA vending machine thing popped back up in Vegas.
Yes, all your posts.
And in that video, the person that's recording it mentions that the Nevada Gaming Control Board was asking questions about it. So on like an individual slot machine, it's not just so simple as like, I have a casino license, I can have slot machines. Like, I assume each slot machine has to be approved individually, correct? Like, because do they have to have like minimum payouts or like how does that shit work?
Okay, so where I'm at in the state of Delaware, the house has to pay back a certain percentage as far as the entire slot portion of it, because you can't set up a table game to pay out, right? It's all chance. I was gonna say a carnival game because there are carnival games within the table games department. Games like Heads Up Hold'em, 3-card poker, 4-card poker, Louisiana Stud, Caribbean Stud, all that stuff are considered carnival games in general casino talk. We don't just say
those are the ones you see at the National. Okay,
but
Steve.
But where I'm at, everything's governed by the Delaware State Lottery. So every casino in Delaware, their slot machines, because slot machines are controlled by a computer. A computer tells them when they can or when to pay out, when not to pay out. So basically it's controlled. So they have to be set to where they're paying back a certain percent of what's coming in. And casinos have to openly disclose that to players. Some casinos even advertise it, when they say we're the best as an advertisement, we're the best paying slots in Delaware. A lot of times that's a fact, because they may have their slot machine set to give back 30%, as opposed to another casino might have them set to give back 28%. So you can be like, our slots pay back 30% of what we take in, and you can actually use that as a marketing ploy. But that stuff's controlled. You don't know which slot machine is going to pay at what time or anything like that, but the slot machines have to pay out. So really the gamble and the luck aspect of it is being at the right slot machine at the right time, not necessarily being lucky on a certain machine, because the slot machines are going to pay out. You just got to pick the right one, and you got to be the person at that time. Because see, there's more losing people than there are winning people. So in essence, a casino is always paying the winners with their losers' money and then keeping the difference. I talked about this one time. I talked like with a blackjack table. You have 6 seats, 60-40 in the house's favor. 2 players might win any given hand, but 4 people lose. And a majority of the time, the losers are paying the winners, and the house is banking the rest of it.
Given that, like, how would a sports card repack machine fall into?
If
like,
it falls,
say your casino wanted to add that to the floor, like, how does that work? Because there's no dollar, there's no cash coming out of the machine. It's a slab.
And is Nevada more strict than Delaware, or the same, or
well,
not?
see, so in Nevada, most of the properties are independently owned, or they're owned by corporations. They're not actually, the state isn't involved in it as much. The state does help regulate it, but they don't necessarily fall under the full umbrella of like Nevada lottery, right? Like you have maybe 4 or 5 different casinos that are all under the same parent umbrella and owned by a corporation. Or you might have like Stevie Wynn back in the day. There was a guy named Steve Wynn who owned a bunch of casinos, and he was an independent owner. You have owners like that where, so one of the Delaware casinos is owned by Bally's. The other 2 are owned by racetracks because they have harness racing there. And that's basically what the casino was built around. Really, the meat and potatoes of any casino that has a horse track is a horse track. The horse track always makes more money than anything to do with the rest of the casino, believe it or not. But what putting slots and stuff in does is it draws more money to the track, which then allows you to pay bigger purses to your horse races. So that's how those kind of feed off each other. Anyway, I got off a tangent a little bit. I could probably do a whole channel on this, but anyway,
pay attention, Ziggy.
As far as regulation would have to go, Neo, if it was along the lines of,
and no, we will not promote your repack.
If it was along the lines of how it would work here in Delaware, because I can't speak for the complete Nevada thing. Some probably have different rules throughout casinos, where here everything is one way. You would have to somebody has to win. You have to. You can't just be like, everybody who puts money into this is a loser. You can be like, there's 50 cards in here, and 49 of you people are going to lose your ass, and one person's going to win. But at least you're saying, okay, there's a chance that somebody can win, right? At least there's a 1 in 50 chance for you to win. So that would have to be, in order to win, the item that's in there would have to be more valuable than the amount of money that you're putting in there. There's really no strict way to do it.
Cards, because the value can change while it's sitting in there, technically.
Right.
Yeah.
With a winner on Monday, by Friday could technically not be a winner anymore.
Yeah, and a loser could be a loser on Monday and be a winner on Friday too. So more so less the case, but
well, the guy on that ad lost. I think what was it, $100 buy-in, and he got it.
Yeah, I think that card was valued like $80. Someone said it.
Here's
the thing. $80. Wow. Yeah.
Here's the thing: when you knowingly are buying cards that you are actually picking out yourself, you're already gambling. Mm-hmm. This is a whole nother gamble. Not only are you not knowing what you're getting, what you get, like you said, Neo, is could fluctuate in value at any given time.
Yeah.
So
that's why a lot of them like to use the Pokemon cards more than anything. that doesn't move as much.
But
You know what would actually do well is a Pokemon, like a sealed box Pokemon machine where you put an extra.
But if let's say it's $100 to play, and every 10 cards you'll make more than $100, everyone after that will be $80. You're going to make 20% all day long, and people won't feel like they're getting screwed with like a $20 card, so they'll play more because they're not really losing that much, but they're still getting that high end. Like that's a perfect setup.
Gambling machines aren't built like that to make 20%.
I'm just saying, we don't even have any kind of regulations on
20% is child's play.
breaking, as I know of right
Some people
now.
would really like to make 20% on every
there's
card.
zero regulations on breaking.
Yeah, there's not any regulations on breaking, right?
Not
I mean,
yet.
you're
And
pretty much-
if Fanatics
yeah,
ever
you're-
figures that out, yeah,
you're
they're
pretty
never
much.
gonna figure it out.
That machine was, because they said it's like what was advertised as like another one of these PSA machines, but it was a PSA dealer, right? It's another one.
Yeah,
of
it's
these,
not PSA.
Yeah.
Has
nothing
nothing
to do
other
with
than
it.
the fact that it's PSA cards. They have nothing to actually do with
Yeah,
it.
just-
The next national, do we see one of these machines at the national?
There was supposed to be one at last national, and I think it got yanked because of all the controversy around it.
A lot of times when it comes to lottery regulation or casino regulation, as long as the casino is disclosing up front either their edge or, this is what you have a chance to win, this is what you have a chance to lose. Like if it's prizes, like the machine is issuing out, okay, this is what's possible. Not just you're going to get a card that may be a certain value, but basically a checklist, right? Something like that would always typically be able to loophole any casino, around gaming issues, especially if they were to get any kind of like attorney involved or something. It wouldn't even be something worth like fighting. It'd be like, okay, this is disclosed. You put your money in here. You don't put your money in here. You're an adult. You make your own decisions. You can't even be in this casino unless you're 21, right? So, nobody's making you do this. You can win this. You can lose this. You're making the decision. We're not making you do it. And I know a lot of times that's the take people, we even take that take with content. Hey, this is what I'm doing, but I'm going to do what I'm doing. Make your own decisions. But a lot of times that throws a lot of stuff up. But it has to be true, right? You can't put a checklist of stuff up there that's not actually in that machine.
Correct. Yeah. I agree. Now, I think if there was a checklist, that would be great, especially if you just kind of saw it keep getting drawn off the board as you pull them, because now you're just going to keep going until you get that, or you're playing the game. Saw Bobby showed there that Fanatics is $1.2 billion in debt.
It's like
Yeah,
three
Bobby.
of Johnny Top's Nows card.
Yeah.
But-
It doesn't seem to be catching up.
What would then come into question on a machine, though, is how many times is that restocked? So say, for instance, you have 50 cards in there and you have 5 bangers and the other 45. Let's say you have 5 bangers. You have 20 cards that are going to help you break even, and then you have 25 cards that are going to lose, right? And that's where the machine makes its money from.
Yeah.
And as those cards are taken out and crossed off, are they then allowed to be replaced by new cards, which would then increase the odds in the machine / house favor? Because
I know early on they discussed how they did that and how that system worked out to try to keep it fair. It's been a while since I've looked at it, but they did do something where they had to explain this is X is in here to this point, and then we restock at this time.
Right.
But they get notified wirelessly that it's low.
Right. I'm just saying, like I was just saying, if there was a checklist that like 10 of or let's say 3 of the big bangers were left in the machine, and there was only 10 cards total left in the machine. Now you're looking at a 30% chance of winning, and possibly winning big. That's almost worth someone buying all 10.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
But at that point, would they be allowed to restock it to then decrease the consumer's chance of winning? Which would then be somewhat shady, because that's almost that would be like refilling repacks as the shit cards are pulled, right? Yeah. We have games at the casino that are called must-hit jackpots, where on the chart right there at the table we have a sign, electronic signs, and it'll say $300. At $300, someone's guaranteed to win. Must-hit jackpot. If they're sitting at a table, we have lights in front of their seats. At any given time between $100 and $300, one of these lights is going to light up, and whoever is sitting in that chair is going to get whatever their money has accumulated to at that time free of charge. You're just going to get it right out of the casino rack. If it's at 150, okay, we'll give you 150 bucks. If it's up to 250, we give you 250. It's going to hit before it gets to 300, and it's going to reset at 100. It may hit at 115 and reset back to 100. It may go longer and get up to 190, or it may go longer and get up to 295 and then reset back to 100. But you bet your ass when it gets up over 200 bucks and it's like somewhere between 225 and 300, people are sitting down playing because they're like, that is about to hit. Right. So, we don't all of a sudden start charging more to play the game because the jackpot's about to hit. So
does anybody buy Beckett?
Oh, shifting gears. I think Neo did like a 7-part on this.
I don't know who would want them.
That's I'm like, does it go away?
I think collectors will add it to the portfolio.
And at that point, do black labels become a ridiculous amount of money, knowing that the company doesn't
go to zero?
They won't go to zero. That's still the favorite of the hobby.
For now.
I don't know, Ham.
They're the most valuable card. You can give me a PSA 10 of it or a black label, and the black label is going to outsell it.
Sure, but 10 years ago, a BGS 9.5 would sell the same for a PSA 10.
Well, and a black label. Yeah, it depends too. Like they're handing them, like, what is it? The BGS 10s on the new Pokemon stuff. They're getting a lot more of, like, those are going out like a lot more frequently.
Yeah, but if you go look at CGC and the other ones, they're giving a lot more 10s too. Those cards are just made better anyway. It's easier to deal with. There's no sharp corners. It's just, and then everybody's babying them out of the pack. So I mean, they're not playing with them, so they're not getting anywhere. So outside of the factory, it should be pretty perfect to begin with. So I could see why, especially that gets that there. There's no raised surfaces. It's not embossed. I
have the specific data, grading data because Generate ran me custom reports. Let's see, Beckett black labels. Let's see. One Piece is the big one. That black label's at about 8%. And CGC Pristine's it at 40%. So this is not split out by Japanese Pokemon though. It's just Pokemon in general. Pokemon Pristine's at CGC at 12% overall. At Beckett, it's 2% Black Label, 10% Pristine, 36% BGS 9.5. That's for all of 2024.
I could see something like the Star Wars Fiend. Actually, I think GameStop will have this before Walmart.
Oh, well, GameStop already has repacks.
Do they already have a repack in there?
They partnered with one of the.
They partnered with Backyard Breaks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I don't think they have anything to do with it outside the name. Like, I don't think they're feeding them cards or anything. I think it's literally just their name on it for branding.
Yeah. It's like Dude Perfect shit. Yeah.
I just think somebody will buy Beckett because there's still value in the name.
So, yeah.
Just.
But that value lessens every day. Like, anyone new that came into the hobby in 2020 or after does not view Beckett the same that we view Beckett. And we're getting older, not younger.
Yeah, but they don't view SGC the same way either. SGC never had the reputation that Beckett did. I'm not even talking from a grading standpoint. I'm just talking about the brand.
Anyone that came in after 2020 probably views, if you just came in 2020 and you didn't collect as a kid in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, you probably view SGC as a better company than Beckett. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, but most people who came in 2020 aren't collectors, Neo. We're talking about people that are going to be around for the long run, like us, who do remember things like that. Like,
I mean, I don't remember
genuine. Some people that came in are going to hang around. You're going to keep a certain percentage of those people,
right? But I think a lot of the ones that we're going to keep are not necessarily going to care as much about how much they can make off of a slab as the ones that won't be around.
Yeah, but regardless, they have no fondness for Beckett. They view Beckett as the company that takes them forever to get their cards back.
I mean, the fact that it's so. Would you consider it big news that the owner of Beckett is going to jail?
What do you mean? Yeah, it's big news.
I'm just saying it was big news, right?
Hobby space.
Right. Why though? Because it's Beckett, right? So that tells me that because the name still holds relevance, just because people are willing to do news stories on it. If people didn't give a shit, then
relevance. I'm saying it holds less relevance with anyone newer that came in.
less value.
Anyone new entering the hobby does not view Beckett the same way that anyone pre-2000 or 2020 does.
What's your view on Beckett if there is a viable buyer that, and it's not just some random company, but I don't know, like any viable buyer, and it does look like they're going to, kind of bring it out of the ashes. I know they're still great cards.
I don't think anyone that buys them brings them out of the ashes. I think anyone that buys them would be another equity firm and just milks them for whatever money they can. Because Beckett is clearly profitable. Like, otherwise they wouldn't be around. Like, they're clearly making a decent chunk of change. They're in the green. So I think anyone that buys them is going to buy them off the scraps and just let them continue to make money, basically how they've been treated for the last 5 years until that runs out. Basically strip them for parts, make what money that they can off of them, and then just write it off at the end of whatever it is. Like, if you're telling me another equity firm is buying them, an equity firm is not going to buy them and dump a ton of money into them to, air quote, bring them back to greatness.
Yeah. I think that PSA is probably just too far ahead now too.
Yeah, I don't think it matters how much you put into any certain company. You can't bring them back to greatness.
So many broken things.
You can't bring them back to greatness no matter what you do, unless unless you change the way the market thinks. Yep. And the market thinks that PSA is the best or most valuable, or thinking that they're the most valuable makes them the most valuable, right? It's a consumer thing. It's not necessarily the business thing. Beckett, SGC, if everybody was talking about Beckett slabs in 2020, as opposed to PSA across social media platforms and putting them head and shoulders above the rest, that would be talking about now, because a lot of PSA's value came off of influencers in social media talking about how great PSA was, because they came into the space in 2020, didn't know any better. So, SGC and BGS, they remain viable companies because of people who did know better and did know value. And it still, to me, would be a valuable name for somebody to buy. Nike would buy Adidas if Adidas went out of business, and they would still sell Adidas shoes.
Yep.
Because it's a reputable name that, people want to buy. Maybe I don't like Nike. Maybe I like Adidas. Maybe I like Reebok. Maybe I like Converse, right? I don't like to buy Nikes. So it's a brand, it's a name that people prefer over some, maybe not from a monetary standpoint, because my Adidas don't cost as much as Nikes, but it's still a reputable name and a personal preference. So a bigger company, it would make sense for a bigger company to buy them, because there's, like you said, there's still money to be made there.
It seems like
the other problem too is you look at the gem rate data, like they're continuing to lose market share month. Like you look at the month over month numbers, the year over year data, like they're seeing consistent drops every single month. Like month
it seems like the market too is all around TCG,
but that's probably because of their service.
Like TCG is going nuts right now. So.
I mean, we can all agree on that. BGS has had bad service over the last couple of years. They had fallen behind with the 8-ball. Right.
Well, they've had bad leadership, obviously.
Right. It's not. I mean, we know that the other companies have been more valuable, and people have talked about them. And Beckett, I'm not saying Beckett's not at fault. Beckett has fallen behind, and a lot of it has to do with the way that they've been operated and things like that. A lot of it has to do with the service. And when you do give people cruddy service, they are going to be, less likely to use your services. I mean, look at me. I was using Beckett, and twice they sent my cards back to the wrong address, to the point where I don't want to give them my cards because I had a bad experience with them. But if they were being run more professionally or more properly, maybe they could instill some trust back in some of their past consumers that they've lost.
Yeah, they have multiple aspects of it.
Because maybe that's the one thing that's keeping people from using them. Maybe I love their slabs, I love their grades, but their turnaround times and their prices suck, right? But say somebody was to say, okay, their turnaround times are better and their prices suck. Okay, that's what was keeping me from using them, because I do like their slab and I do like their grading scale. There are some people that think that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying any of us do. I'm just saying there are still people out there that would like to use Beckett. It's just that Beckett's, the way they've operated themselves over the past couple of years, have pushed people away.
Mm-hmm. I think there's also a real concern, especially with people that I know that have like fairly high end Beckett slabs, that they don't necessarily want those cards. They don't want to own just in case Beckett goes by the wayside, and that's a slab that is no longer, favored by the hobby. Beckett of the big four is the one that's kind of hanging out there, that's, kind of flailing out there. I know CGC doesn't grade a lot of sports cards, but I mean, for the most part, they're, they seem to be run pretty well, and their TCG line is just doing great. So I don't know. Beckett's kind of the one that's just kind of like flailing in the wind. And I know for a fact people that have just gotten off of, BGS 9.5s or BGS 9s that are pretty big cards because they just don't want to own a BGS slab of a big card.
Yeah, I know a lot of big cards got attempted to be crossed the PSA at like the National and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Like even if it was an unfavorable grade, like they would go from a Min Gem 9.5 to a PSA 9. Because really, when you look at pricing, a BGS 9.5 Min Gem on, maybe not like some super rare Jordan insert or something, but like something more commonly transacted, doesn't outsell a PSA 9 by like that much. There's a difference, yes, but it's not like substantial for a Min Gem 9.5.
And from a monetary standpoint, it's always smarter to get if you're looking to flip, unless it's a time sensitive. At times, it was better to use SGC because of time sensitive cards. You needed to get them back quicker. Sometimes selling them at SGC prices for less money was better than waiting for the turnaround times at PSA. Now the PSA seems to be caught up, and I haven't graded in a while. But as someone who crosses cards, I was 3 for 3 on snapping BGS 9s this year, not 9.5s, on snapping BGS 9s this year and resubmitting them to PSA and getting 10s on what I would consider to be some bigger cards. So that what that tells me is that their grading scale isn't lower quality. They don't have idiot graders working for them. If their 9s are getting PSA 10s or 9.5s are getting PSA 10s, and not in all cases, because when a human's grading cards, things are always going to come out differently. But you can't say that their standards are any worse than any other grading company. I'm not going to say that they're better, but you can't say that they're any worse either. I think what pushed people away, first of all, the simplicity of the 10, the PSA 10. Lots of people who came in the hobby in 2020 that didn't necessarily understand a lot of stuff were looking for simplicity. PSA offered them simplicity as opposed to a complex grading scale. And their customer service. If a reputable company was to buy them, they'd be like, hey, we're changing the grading scale. Now, would they have to go back and honor a lot of cards that have already been graded and maybe regrade them? But if they ramped their service up to the level of what SGC was running at one time, and they changed the grading scale, there would still be people that would use Beckett because they like the name, they like the labels, they like the slab.
Well put. Well said. All right, boys, we're running at an hour 20. What other topics do we want to cover here as we wrap up?
Dustin, how many part video series are you going to do if Ziggy puts out a repack? The man that has despised repacks his entire life. He sells out and does a repack. Is that going to be like a 14-part Netflix miniseries? Like, what are we doing? He
sells out again? Yes. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Nobody screamed and cried louder about repacks. And I keep hearing little whispers that he's thinking about doing a repack.
No.
Yeah. I know.
Winning the cards, doing a repack, baby.
Literally, like the last person in the hobby that I thought would do that is.
Hey, I got free credits with them, Dustin. Thanks. Thanks, Dustin. I got free credits with Ziggy.
I'm sure he needs all the help he can get.
I remember he put the bounty on you.
Oh, yeah. Anybody who beats me?
Anybody who beats Dustin in fantasy football gets a bounty. Ziggy has a bounty on him.
You should negotiate some more credit because you beat me by less than a point. So get as much credit as you can.
Yeah. Who do you guys play this week? I think we're back to the top of the schedule. So we're starting our rematches.
Okay. What is it? Top 6 goes to the playoffs? There's 12?
Yeah, how
I'm mathematically eliminated.
Dustin, how did I play you this week? And we should just now be getting around to our rematches, unless there was somebody I didn't play.
Because you wouldn't play everyone twice.
No, not everyone twice, but you should play everybody at least once, which would put you through week 11 in a 12-team league. So we just went through week 11. We just played week 11, and I played Dustin, in the beginning of the season. So somehow there's somebody.
It doesn't have to go in order. I mean, the schedule knows that you're going to play everybody once in 17 weeks.
No, typically it goes through the first 11, and then it.
Ham's just like, I'm done.
Ham just bounced.
Usually,
well, that's, you know what it is. That's that sketchy Florida infrastructure. That's why Fanatics couldn't do the event down there.
That's it. That's how we know whether there's going to be a Fanatics Fest or not, is if Ham's internet's working.
I'm intrigued now by who I didn't play first time around.
You probably just play them later in the season. That's all.
Yeah, I'm going to look at the schedule.
My roster's kind of weak. I've got some injuries. I'm hanging.
Oh man,
red.
This week I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's a bad bye week.
I got 7 buys.
Man,
I wish I started
6 teams on buys this week.
I have to start. Oh, my running backs are out. I got to start James Brooks on his week.
I think Jeff has a good chance to win the league again.
Man, he's going to go back to back. Who's number one? Is Jeff one?
I'm pulling it up.
Roth cards.
Oh, Roth. That's right.
Roth and Ken.
Roth is third in points. Jeff is the highest scoring team in the league, which I mean, in my mind, matters more than the record in terms of who has the best team.
Yeah.
No, not if you put up like 180 one week and like 90 another week. You got to have some sort of consistency. Now, if you're consistent,
I mean, Jeff is also 7-4, 1 win behind Roth. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, I mean, Jeff's team's good. He has a lot of. I played him last week. I got destroyed.
Is he good or is he lucky? As in, he's not.
I mean, he has Saquon Barkley, so
because everybody else is taking massive injuries, like.
Well, he might have
tough fantasy year.
He has Saquon and Justin Jefferson on the same team.
Yeah, so neither one of those have been.
And he has Chase Brown, who's on fire right now. He has Cooper Kupp, who's on fire right now.
My big money league that I'm in at the casino, I have Jamar Chase, and I got him in the second round because I drafted 11th, and everybody was scared to draft him in the first round because we thought he was going to hold out on his contract, remember? And so he made it back to me in early round 2. So I ended up with Garrett Wilson and Jamar Chase, but then I traded Garrett Wilson and Najee Harris for Breece Hall. So now my 2 big players are Chase and Hall, but they're both on a bye this week. So, but I'm doing good in that league.
Jeff might have missed on the Will Greer's, but man, he can pick a fantasy team, apparently. Fantasy football team.
He probably puts it in some kind of computer program.
He's
probably got
It's the same people that did the presidential polling, the 538 or whatever. He goes to Nate Silver. It worked this time.
Well, probably according to the comment section, he has his wife draft for him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, you know what, Dustin? I hadn't played you yet this year. That was the first time. I thought I played you earlier in the season, so that makes sense. Now we're starting back over.
So that's the story we're going with, is Jeff Wilson's wife is picking his rosters.
That's what Instagram comments will probably say.
Ham's just getting so upset with these comments that he just keeps leaving.
I've got Ham again. I whooped Ham the first time. I'm going to get him again. And I got Filmington to round out the season. That should be an easy win. If I can win this week, man, I might have a chance. I'm going to roll Ham and Filmington.
I'm like middle of the pack, right? 6 and 5.
Yeah, we're all tied up in the middle there. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Even me, my team's been terrible. I had a terrible draft. At the time, I thought it was a good draft. It just didn't work out.
According to ESPN, you have a 3% chance of making the playoffs, Steve.
Who, me? That's because they project out the games and your win-losses.
I'm guessing it's probably factoring in your current stuff and tie breaks. Dustin has a 53% chance.
I'm sure it's not factoring in the fact that I'm about. Yeah, I'm sure it's not counting the fact that I'm about to go 3-0 to end the season and finish 8-6.
It's actually as funny as this is. It's basically between Ziggy and Dustin for the last playoff spot. Ziggy's at 52% and Dustin's at 53%. They're both 6.
That's because they got one game on everybody. They're 6 and 5, and I'm 5 and 6. But if they lose 2 and I win 2, it's a whole new ball game, baby. And I just beat Dustin.
We'll see who can finish it out.
I just beat Dustin to put him into a downward spiral.
And I lost by
I
one.
played Ziggy.
I lost by 0.8.
I played Ziggy this week. Maybe I should lay down in that game.
Hey, I remember one time earlier this year, I was talking about my players being hurt, and Dustin was like, man, a W is a W. Now I get to use the same thing, man. W's a W. Like I said, I didn't want to beat you too bad. I got to, try to maintain our friendship.
Between you and Ziggy, it's like blind squirrels finding a nut. Like
it's
gotta happen.
Oh, you put me in the same boat with Ziggy.
You're expected to lose by
got it.
30 points this week, according to the ESPN.
Who, me?
Yeah,
Got some work to do.
Only by 3?
30.
No, 30. Yeah. I was projected to lose last week too.
What'd y'all
big
think
game,
of,
big game against Ziggy this week out of me? Maybe I should bench my whole team just to give him the win.
He'll give you some free credits.
Yeah. How much break credit can I get for laying down in the content creator league?
What did y'all think of what is his name? SVC or SCV coming back?
He came back.
Yeah, I saw he's out of retirement.
Yeah. That was interesting.
They always come back.
They always come back.
We'll get the Coda back one day. Mark my words. Might be a while, but
No, we will.
Everyone's dropping like flies. You got Steve. Steve hasn't made a video since NAM. Michael Ham makes a video like once a month. Goes to the Tampa Card Show.
I got a show this weekend. The shows were beat up this past month, and I had hurricanes. I was dealing with crucial stuff, guys.
That should have been a hurricane video.
I was too busy being in the midst of it,
like the weatherman
by water.
the weatherman video.
Yeah, no, I was 3/4 surrounded by water at one point during Helene, about 4.5 feet of water. So I had like one way to go. That was it.
RCA Dome. Will there be another card boom? Yes, there will. I don't know when, but there will.
It has to crash first. That's how booms work.
Give it 20 years, 25
Pokemon's
years.
having one right now.
Dude, man.
But there will be.
2050 is going to be insane.
Yeah. Just hold, guys. Just hold.
Yeah. Diamond hands.
Diamond hands and live another 30 years.
Yeah. Keep buying Bitcoin. Keep buying all the other cryptos. Hold.
Oh, Steve, are you going to? I'm like
Thanks, Tammy.
98% sure I'm going to be at the Philly show in December on Saturday.
Oh, I mean, what?
It's
Do you know what the date of that is? The 14th.
December 14th, I think.
Oh, damn! Because I took off. I'm actually off work on Saturday the 21st. That would be a week
Doctor's
after.
appointment.
Who, me?
You said you only take days off for like doctor's
It's a
appointment.
No, I actually, one of my good friends that I haven't seen. We've spoken, but I haven't seen. And man, my daughter was a baby, maybe probably 20 years. One of my best friends growing up with. He's going to come visit, and we're going to hang out for a couple days. So yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to it. I think I mentioned this in the last live stream, but yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'll be at the Philly show on the 14th. Looking at.
I could if I ran the gauntlet and drove up there and then came back and went to work. It's a possibility. I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna say yes. Non-committal with my free time, boys.
I like that show last time. I like it a lot better than Chantilly.
Yeah, I always like the Philly show.
Philly's a good show. Yeah.
I always do better at the Philly show. Like when I would go and buy cards, I always found more stuff that I could buy at better prices and stuff than I could at Chantilly.
I think Philly's a lot bigger. I don't know the table difference, but Philly feels like it's a lot bigger show than Chantilly.
Maybe
at least the one Chantilly show I went to and the one Philly show I went to.
Yeah,
the Philly show felt way bigger.
I feel like Chantilly used to be more spread out until they moved the Philly show out of the Valley Forge Convention Center. When it was in the basement there, everything was very congested. It sucked. Now they moved it out to where we were last time. It's a possibility. I'm not going to say no to it. Would be nice to get to a Philly show. I would rather have planned it and taken time off for it, a day off for it, though. Those gauntlets are rough. Getting off work at 5 a.m, getting home, trying to be in Philly by like 9 or 10 when the doors open, then being back home by like 3 or 4, and then going back to work.
Yeah.
Make a good video if you want to come out of
I've
retirement.
done them, and I've done videos on them. I have the Chantilly and Philadelphia Gauntlet videos, but they're rough. I even squeezed a gym session in there between 5 and 6 when I got off work.
Damn.
So, yeah.
All right, guys. It is time for bed. I think we've done good work tonight. We topped out almost at 200 viewers.
Oh, did we really?
We did a good thing with cardsforsmiles.com. Make sure to check that out, guys. Cards, the number 4.
.org.
.com. What's that?
I think it's .org.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Probably.
It's .com.
I think the Instagram said .org on it. That's why.
Maybe it's tied to both.
Maybe
of them.
both. Usually all nonprofits do orgs. That's why.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Organ donor.
Yep. Not me.
All right, 2 weeks. So we got Thanksgiving next week, and then so we'll be back early December.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Is Thanksgiving next week?
Yeah, Thanksgiving's next week.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
All you
Oh,
can
man,
eat
we ought to
for
come on here and eat dinner
dinner.
together. Who thinks we should come on here and eat dinner together? Where you
Ironically,
guys?
ironically,
I'm going to be at an all-you-can-eat buffet.
ironically, I'm going to be in England. So,
Oh, you should definitely.
Eat quail over there.
Are you
What
going
is
to
it?
find an English hooker? To,
So,
yeah. I don't know if I
Fish
can
and
top
chips?
Steve. I don't know if I can top Steve's wandering around in the middle of the night. I don't know if I can top.
Oh, I called you the other night because I was going to ask you about New Orleans. I'm thinking about taking like a long weekend somewhere just to go chill and see the city. And I'm trying to find a nice, I'm not saying a nice city, but I'm trying to find a good place that has plenty to do, but also has like art and history. And
New Orleans has got all that. It's got a good.
Yeah.
do the
Down
New York
Bourbon
City
Street.
Christmas thing.
I'm going to New York City on December 11th just for the day, just to go up to Rockefeller Center and Times Square. Yeah, basically the Christmas stuff. Me and my wife, New York City for me isn't necessarily a super special trip. It's drivable, so it's kind of like we could go all the time. And it's just, I don't know. Like we used to go every year, but now we kind of go like every 3 years just because when you go every year, it seems like, oh, been there, done that, been there, done that, been there, done that. But if you go every 3 or so years, it feels a little more fresh when you go.
That's how I felt last year because we did Fanatics Fest, and then like 2 months later, we were back for New York Comic Con after going to New York Comic Con 2 years
But
ago.
you got to do Longwood Christmas lights. Are you going to do that when you come to the Philly show?
That's why we're coming. So I'm going to combo it in.
Okay.
We're going to do that on Friday night, and then I was like, oh well, what do you know? Philly shows in December. This will work perfect. So yeah, we have our Longwood tickets for Friday, and then I'm going to do the Philly show on Saturday, then come home on Sunday.
Yeah, we were thinking about Longwood also. We didn't go last year. We went the year before. I think we missed it.
The new conservatory is open now, so that's why we're going.
Okay. People in the chat have no idea what we're talking
No.
about. It's almost as if we're backstage. It's almost as if we're backstage just talking.
All right, boys. Ham looks like he's about to fall asleep. So look at that glare, or maybe he froze. Oh no, there he is. Okay. All right, guys. 2 weeks. We'll be back, and it'll be December. We'll be rounding out the year. We'll have to come up with a good theme. Like, what should we expect in 2025?
2025.
We got some time to think on it.
December or the beginning of the year, the easiest time to make content. You get to do your top whatevers from the previous year and your top whatevers for the upcoming year.
Exactly. There's always some juicy goodness there at the beginning of the year. All right, guys. 2 weeks.
Later.
See you next time.
Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble.